Good evening, everybody. Still have a good solid, I'd say solid market. It's not exuberant. It's a nice steady uptrend. As we can see, the Dow was up 85 points a day. At the same time, the transportation index was down 80 points today. So this kind of gives us the impression that things over the last couple of days, you can see there was a couple of days in here where the transportation index was up on days where it was kind of indecisive for the Dow. So what this kind of illustrates is that there's buying in a particular sector or two on any given day, and then buying in other sectors. So there's lots of rotation going on, which definitely tells us that there's no selling occurring in this market, just kind of rotating from sector to sector. Again, there's the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, just in a nice, slow, steady uptrend. So this is where a lot of people ask, well, how do you use the 3T line? If they can't even get back below the 3T line, that's telling us the uptrend is definitely in progress, probably with a little bit more conviction than if they were just staying above the T line. Crude oil. This is December crude. It's kind of waffling in here. Notice the big morning star signal off the 50, taking things back up. And gold. Oh, gold is dropping. There's your hanging man type signal, lower open. That might be the lower open. Anytime I see this, what I do is I go to my 10-minute chart, and it looks like it didn't gap around. It was after hours it traded back up or down. So you can see what's happening on the 10-minute chart where it hit bottom, came back up. So what happens is they'll close the trading on one day at the end of the outcry, but the electronic trading continues. So right now, it looks like gold is still kind of waffling just below the 50. We have been long, reiterated going long again on December live cattle because there was your bullish Harami gap up breakout through this level. So that's got a nice little J-hook pattern setting up. Watching cattle, see if it's starting to head back up. And wheat, we went long week. This is, again, that illustration. Say if there's our buy signal and it starts trading up, we put our stop at where it opened. Because if it came back down through there, what's it telling us? That the sellers are in control. We were up 80 points in the Dow and we had a doji. I don't think it was a doji. I've got a good strong candle. Now over here on the NASDAQ, that was more of a doji. Opened and closed within a couple points of each other. So that'd be a little bit more indicative that want to be more watchful for profit taking. John, on natural gas, let's see if natural gas, you can see it's not a chart that you really want to try to trade. Just no direction on this. Yeah, that's kind of a junky chart, which we know natural gas right now is well into its low end of the trading range for quite a while. So I haven't traded this natural gas for a while. But right now I wouldn't be trading it. There's just nothing there to give you a good good trend. I'm not even sure how to get copper, I don't think. Copper, there's a nice fry pan bottom breakout today. So you can still be buying copper with the expectation that they're bringing it back up into the trend channel. Okay, stocks. Some of the ones that we've been following. Halo, still kind of in this 45 degree. It can still be bought on positive trading tomorrow. And this is the importance of wanting to know what your patterns look like. We went after SQM today as a buy recommendation based upon, you can see the wedge formation setting up. Now it's broken out. So I would anticipate you've got a wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. Why? Because of the pattern. You've got that wedge and they break out, that means there's a new dynamic in that stock. SM, fry pan bottom J-hook pattern. I'd still be buying this one on positive trading because there's your classic fry pan bottom strong price move, J-hook pattern. Get ready for another strong price move. On which one, John? That was, yes, I bought calls on SQM. I bought, I want to say the October weekly, the 27, week 27. I can't remember which ones I bought. I think I bought the 60s. I did buy the 60s for $3.63. I think they closed at $4.50. But if this moves in the manner we expect it, or it moved 20 points, if it moves 20 points from here, that means it's taking up into the $80 range. So again, I was buying based on what would be a strong probability trade setup. Now, obviously, there's a lot of stocks that are moving up during a uptrending market. What we're trying to do is find the ones that are going to move excessively strong as long as the investor sentiment remains the same. PLSE. You saw what happened today. Big doji harami in the overbought area. Makes this very simple. If it opens lower tomorrow, you close it out. It needs to open positive and trade positive. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Because this tells you there's indecision in the overbought area. If I wake up tomorrow and the pre-market futures showing that it's going to open up down 40 cents, close it out immediately. It becomes a bad chart. RIC had a J-hook pattern potential. The fact that it came back down through that level right there was not good. It had the potential of, again, doing a J-hook pattern, but observe the obvious. Instead of it doing a J-hook pattern breakout, it did a left-right combo. What did that tell us about today's trading? Again, this is just very simple step-by-step analysis. If this was going to keep continuing higher, what did it need to do? It needed to open positive and trade positive. The fact that it traded lower today meant you closed it out. Because now what's the pattern that it's setting up? It's more of a downtrending channel than it is a J-hook pattern. And MYGN, this was basically a steady eddy all the way up here until what was happening up here. We had kind of an evening star signal, a dark cloud, a shooting star, a bearish engulfing that closed below the T-line. What was that indicating? They were having a hard time taking this up any further. We were getting sell signals and a close below the T-line. If you had bought down here, if you'd bought here, what's this all tell you? The sellers were taking control. It was time to close out the position, especially when it closed back below the T-line, because there's two major visual functions that you can see with it closing below the T-line. One, because it's closing below the T-line, and two, what's the force or the trajectory of this trend now? They're starting to sell it off. So you've got various signals and closing below the T line and telling you the trend is going the other way. Close it out. Move on to something that looks more like this or something more like that. VNet, still use the T-line area as support. So we've got a dragonfly doji, a long-legged doji, a doji, a hanging man. What do we need to see to stay in this tomorrow? Let's see it open positive and trade positive. If it opens lower and starts trading down, it's probably time to take profits because you're getting sell signals in the overbought area and they're still selling it off. Take your profits and move on to something else. SGEN, ever since the bobble breakout, you're on a 45-degree. Safety stop tomorrow will be you don't want to see it trade back below today's low. So this is why it becomes very simple. You don't have to sit here with anxiety wondering what to do. You can just make a very simple game plan. MZOR, still nice steady eddy uptrend. Is there a list of the stocks reviewed here in the chat published on the website? Matt, yes, you should be able to go back and see what was recommended and how they were recommended over the past 3, 5, 10 trading days. I don't have them as a list. This is where looking at them on these type of sessions kind of puts you back into what we've had on the recommended list and which ones are still open positions. MZOR, steady eddy. Chem, traded up, traded up, traded up. But what do we have here today? A hanging man in the overbought area. So what's our analysis here? It needs to open positive and trade positive. If it opens lower, we're going to start taking profits. Where am I? ERII is on the watch list because try to do a bobble breakout. I will start buying this one, especially if it came back up through today's high. That would tell me the J-hook pattern bobble breakout is in progress. And TECK was another bobble breakout, but it hasn't gotten started yet. If you bought today, you stay with it, but it has to open positive and trade positive tomorrow to stay in this this uptrend. Okay, the biggies. A lot of people ask, when you trade a stock through earnings, if you go basic analysis of candlestick signals, which they are the graphic depiction of everybody buying and selling during a specific time frame. So logic says if they were buying going into the close of the day they were going to report earnings, probably somebody or everybody that has a lot more, a lot more insight or knowledge of what's happening with the company, if they're buying going into earnings, there's probably something there to tell you they know something more than we do. So through the years, I've discovered, yes, right now Netflix is 205.30, so it's up here. We bought some spreads the other day, the 200 and the 205s for 99 cents, with the idea that if this J-hook pattern was working, that by this coming Friday, anticipating the stock trading above 205, that meant our 99 cents would go to $5. I can't find weekly options on SQM. Am I doing something wrong? Oh no. What did I buy? Maybe I didn't. Maybe it was. No, there aren't weeklies. That was my mistake. I bought the Novembers. Octobers were too close. It must have been. I bought some NVIDIA calls. The idea that here's your next target if I can do this. There's your next target. So over the next few days, that could probably hit the 207, 208 area. So bought some calls on that. And the reason I'm buying calls, obviously, is the uptrend is still in progress. Now, one of the stronger ones right now is Apple. Apple went through this big lethargic congestion area, but today's gap up through the 50, giving you kind of a bobble breakout, tells me, all right, our next target is somewhere up in here, up in, I think, did somebody come out and upgrade Apple to a $200 target? I can't remember. Anyways, that's why there's some strength there. Amazon has had a nice chart pattern ever since the left-right combo gap up. You just stay long as this stays above the T line. And Nugget has been soggy. Notice you had a bearish left-right combo. You had a shooting star that failed right at the 200, followed by a bearish engulfing. I would suspect wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. 2 upgrades. All right. And that's on Apple. Okay. And Tesla was the weak sister of the biggies. Whoops. Failing right here at the 50. That one's got some downside potential. And Labu started up today, but closed as a long-legged doji, making this very simple. If it opens lower, your biotechs are still selling off. If it opens positive, your biotechs are starting to head higher. Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to short Nugget, but I'd watch to see what gold is doing. Gold is still gold. If it still sags here, what have we got basically? This is what we call the blue ice failure. It came down to the support level, failed, came back up to try to get through that. The way my late friend Dave Elliott of Wall Street Teachers described it was somebody fell through the ice, came down, they came back up to find the hole they fell through. They can't find it. They drowned. They go to the bottom of the pond. So your next target would be the be a red ice. Okay, some charts that are looking good right now. FPRX. Well, this one's already gone. But, again, there was that J-hook pattern with the gap up. That's indicative that this wave and this wave are going to be the same. RES is one that you have on your watch list. If it gets up through the 50, obviously you've got another J-hook pattern, so keep an eye on this one. SORL. There's your J-hook pattern right off the T line, the 50. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. Again, observe the obvious. The obvious is it failed at the resistance levels, hit the T-line, now come back up as a bobble type breakout. And Sohu, this is an example that anytime you see that best friend signal, doji gap up, especially through a major resistance area, got something new, a new dynamic, new dynamic in that price move. The bear fund on the gold miners, JDST, another one that might be ready for a bobble breakout. It comes up through, where's your next target? Way up here at the 200, right around in this area. Hold on to your individual ones until I tell Jim to do the double line. EURN. This is just kind of giving you an example of that slow curve breakout. This is the type I like to find. This acts like a slingshot effect, taking things out into new territories. SPPI, another J-hook pattern setup. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. The solars are acting well. JSO, notice it did a Morningstar signal, smack dab off the 50, kind of a double doji up through the T-line. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying JSO tomorrow. And Sedge was another one. See the slow curve breakout? This could have some good running room from here. Latressa, no, I just bought the November, pretty sure it was November Nvidias. That's SPPI, Jamel. S is in Sam, PPI. RYI. Start watching to see if this comes back up through the 200. Another bobble breakout setup. KBR. That's a kicker signal. This one you definitely want to be buying because if your wave one is about 3.5 points, 3.5 points from here should take you up into about the $22 area. Why is this relevant? Because of this kicker signal breaking you out into new territory. Seiko, J-hook pattern, hammer, doji, gap up through the new through the resistance level. Anticipate it getting back up into the trend channel. Wynn Resorts. A bullish Harami, smack dab off the 50 through the T-line. That's usually a good sign. I'd watch this. If I was buying this one, I might be buying a half a position, and then if it broke out through this level, buy the other half a position. But just the fact that you had a bullish Harami, let's go back to that. What was that? That was Wynn. Which one was it? FBR, bullish Harami right off the 50. How long do you hold this one? Notice it's been gapping up. If you're long something like this with the gap up to start it, you definitely have your stop at today's low. Marshall, yes. The fact that we are not seeing any any major change of investor sentiment in the overall market trend tells us, yes, we want to keep staying long, because the assumption is as long as we're staying above the T-line and not witnessing any sell signals, that just means the best trade setups are going to be the patterns that are setting up, because there isn't any major change of investor sentiment. So here's another J-hook pattern, MTDR. Notice kind of the trend kicker signal coming up through the T-line. Marshall, yes, hold on for a little bit. When I get done with the longs, we'll start going into the shorts. And CALX, there's your fry pan bottom. There's your J-hook pattern. Where's your next target? Probably up here in this gap area. Revlon, which had a big run ever since our scoop pattern, left-right combo. And then notice how far away you got from the T-line. That should have put in your alert to start watching for profit taking. But now look what you have. Another left-right combo doji sandwich. You can start buying this one. First target, obviously, is to see what happens once you get to the 200-day moving average. Mankind, another setup for a J-hook pattern. And Dan, one of the auto parts, real slow curve. You can get ready to start buying this one on a positive breakout tomorrow. All right, on the other side of the coin, just to have some safety factors. AJRD. See how this one's broken down. Where's the next logical target? Back here to the 50. If it doesn't hold at the 50, there's a gap down here that it could be targeting. DDD, we recommended going short on this one today because ever since the bearish engulfing and a close below the T-line, notice this pattern right here. Let's make this bigger. There's our kicker type signal that broke any support level here. You stay short until you see a buy signal. Gel, one of the oil stocks. This one you get ready to short again. Or if you didn't short it today, get ready to short this. I would short this if it came back down through today's low, because what do you got going at that point? A bearish doji sandwich. And Veri, the bigger the signal, the more compelling is a change of investor sentiment. I was going to recommend this one, and I just picked out a couple others. I would suspect it's heading to the 50, which would still mean another, still another 10% at least to get back down there. Now this is the type where is the 50 the support area? If I see something like this and it's pulling back, just very quickly flip your Fibonacci retracement numbers on here. So you can see the 38 didn't hold, the 50 didn't hold, and apparently the 62 didn't hold. So that makes the 50 a very viable target. MTSI, gap down. When they start gapping these down, look for more downside. SGH, bearish doji sandwich. Where's the next target? Here at the 50. That gap right there. Let's see, what is this? NTLA. Oops. NTLA. Another one just rolling over. Where's your next target? The 50. Good 25% to the downside. Nugget, yes. That one, if it opens lower, look for wave 3 to the downside. Yes, there was your dark cloud. And again, look where you were compared to the T-line. So if it opened here and started trading here, where's the logical place to put your stop? At where it opened. If it came back down through there, that told us that the profit taking was in progress. And GOL had been a good long, but you could see what was happening. There's your sell signals, hanging man, doji. Today it had to open positive and trade positive. With it closing down here, told you get out of the trade. It's not, there's nothing there anymore. And C's bearish doji sandwich. You can short this one. Now you're watching to see if it's going to hold up at this level. OKTA, another one that did a left-right combo, did not support at the 50, kind of a slow curve to the downside. You can get ready to short this one on any weakness tomorrow. So the reason we want to have some shorts in this portfolio is we're in a market condition where you're way over in the overbought area. Doesn't hurt to have a few shorts just because they're still going to make some money on the short side, even if the market's heading up. This one, the fact that they gapped it down and did a doji below the previous day's open, what's that telling us we're looking for as a setup? If it opens lower, what do we got? We've got a bearish flutter kicker telling you there's going to be a strong move to the downside. SNCR, another failure up here at the 50. If this comes down through the T-line, you want to start going short because there's lots of space down here for it to retrace. And NewLink, which had been a good long not too long ago, but here was your telltale signal. Look at your bearish engulfing belt hold type signal after opening right here at the 200. What logically did that tell us about the bullish and bearish pressure? Pretty much told you the bears are still in control right there. That if you had been long, it had to open positive and trade positive today. Today you should have been out of the trade. Okay, so as long as this market isn't showing anything devastating and earnings are starting to come in strong, so that tells you investor sentiment is building up again. So when the biggies are starting to trade up because of their earnings beating estimates, what's that doing to overall investor sentiment in the market? Still keeping everything pretty positive. Okay, are there any general questions on candlesticks? Would you ever buy a stock that is below the T-line, given a strong buy signal? And if so, what would the circumstance be? That if you find something that is way below the T-line, remember, what would be the first target? The T-line. I'm trying to think of something that... Anyways, yes. If you remember, we're not buying the T-line. We're buying the signal. If the signal is well below the T-line, yes, you buy based upon a candlestick reversal signal. And you just watch to see what happens at your first, at the T-line, your first resistance. Yes, so if you were short here and you covered your short and were planning on buying, yes, you buy, but you want to see what happens once it gets back up to the T-line. How do you evaluate how much a trailing stop should be? If I'm in an overbought condition, I simply use the previous day's open. I don't want to see it come back to that level. Somebody was asking about a trend kicker signal. Notice that you're in this trend, and you had this little dark candle. The next day they opened up positive and traded above the open of that candle, went the opposite direction. I told you there was some more upside. And Chipotle, I would stay long. You can see where you had the fry pan bottom breakout. I would stay long, but once again, if it opens positive, you're trading positive. If it opens lower, you're coming back to test the T-line, which means you might not be out of this trend channel just yet. Okay, I guess, what else we have? When a bobble breakout occurs and the T-line crosses a moving average, but it crosses flat without strength, is that still a bobble breakout? It doesn't matter what the T-line is doing. I'm trying to think of a bobble breakout. I forgot which ones they were. But you're still trading. You're still trading the signal or the pattern. The T line is irrelevant or less relevant. No. Where does a Morningstar signal have to close, Carol, to be a Morningstar signal? Chipotle needs to open positive and trade positive. If it opens lower, it's coming back to test the T line and the 50. And what's that tell you about this trend channel? You're still in the trend channel. A Marabuzzo is a close where it closes right at the top. There's no tail to the upside. Oh, I can't remember, Jamie, what was 2 charts ago. I can't remember. That's right, halfway up. Remember, a Morningstar signal has to close more than halfway up the dark candle prior to the indecisive day. Do we always use the day's close or full boy 2? Or full boy 2, I have no matter what the full boy 2 is. Yes, you use, remember, the important aspects of candlestick analysis is where did it open and where did it close. Any of the other trading is just noise during the day. Today is my first day here. Where do I find information about what all these lines are and the indicators? Just stay here, Matt. The lines aren't that overbearing on our charts. You've got the 200, the 50, and the 20-day simple moving averages. And the reason you have those on the charts is because every major money manager around the world uses those moving averages to make decisions. We can see exactly what those decisions are based upon the signals. This is a bullish Harami in Netflix, right off the 50, gapped up through the black line is your 8 exponential moving average, the T line. Very simple parameter. If you see a candlestick buy signal and a close above the T line, you can stay long until you see a candlestick sell signal and a close below the T line, with the caveat that the further away you move from the T line, the higher the probability it's going to come back and test it, so you get more, more diligent finding or watching your 10-minute chart up here to see what's happening, so you can take profits with the idea that any selling is going to bring you back to the T line. There's a 3T line. This is the green line. The more further away you move from the T line, the more relevant the 3T line becomes. The stochastics are 12-3-3. You don't worry about whether they're crossing. We just want to know that if we see a sell signal in the overbought condition or a buy signal in the oversold condition, the probabilities are pretty strong that that's a reversal signal. I would think more that David's Shanghai would be at the same level, where this is still trending up. Trying to see if there's something else. Yep. So if the hanging man and the doji had occurred right at the same place, that would be more relevant. Okay, with that, David or Jim, go ahead and do the double line, and in 4.1 seconds, do the next double line. STZ, that's a nice little J-hook pattern. You can be buying this one on positive trading. GWW, another nice J-hook pattern right off the 200. You can be buying this one on positive trading because you'd have a doji sandwich breakout, implying that it's coming up to the trend, which is heading up to the 200-day moving average. Kiwi, nothing here. If you'd gone long over the last few days, I would have closed out the position today. Play, if you're short, you stay short until you see a confirmed buy signal. And MDXG, stay long. The anticipation right now is that you're probably heading for the 50. Phenom, Morningstar type signal. There's your hammer. You can be buying this one on the anticipation it's coming back up into the trend channel. Salt, just stay long. There's your dojis, gap ups, breakout. You stay long on this one. NVCR, big bullish engulfing. If you were short, you would have covered your short today, but it wouldn't be going long until it does close up above the T-line. And TXMD, a Morningstar type signal, another one you can buy if it starts coming up through the T-line. Just use the T-line then as your stop. Bullish, if you were short, you get ready to cover this, especially if it opens positive tomorrow, because that's, if you decided to buy on positive trading, your first target now is to see what happens once it gets to the T-line. APTI, if you're short, you stay short. Boston, I probably wouldn't be long or short if I was doing anything. I'd be ready to go short on weakness. Kind of there's your little evening star signal after flat trading. Kind of acts like a bearish scoop pattern. Shopify, another one that if I had been short, I would have covered the short position over the last couple of days, but I wouldn't be going long just yet. Amazon, we did. You just stay long on this one. Facebook, if you're long, you can stay long. It still wouldn't be any favorite of mine to trade. It just doesn't move around enough. We did Tesla. Tesla, you can get ready to go short on any weakness tomorrow. Hertz has to open positive and trade positive. If it opens lower, I'd close out the position. Potash had a good-looking chart. There's your best friend little gap up. You can be buying this one, especially if it comes through kind of the resistance level right here. Fastenal, kind of your belt hold, stay long, anticipate a 45-degree off of here. Chicago Bridge, nothing wildly exciting here. If you're thinking of buying, I'd use the highs of the last couple of days. If it comes up through there, your J-hook pattern is still progressing. CNET, you can buy this one. Just make sure your volume is hefty. Where's your likely target? They're probably going to come back up into this area somewhere. And AMX, if you're long, use the T-line as your stop. It needs, obviously, to break through the 50-day moving average. NKTR, another one you can be buying on positive trading, your J-hook pattern in progress. Comcast, Comcast was one that if you'd been short, when it opened positive today, especially above the high of the doji, you closed out the position. Where was the first likely target? They're going to come back up and test the T-line area. Chem, you ready to take profits if this opens lower tomorrow? And Square, you just stay long on this one. I would, at this point, have a safety stop. If you're aggressive, you have your safety stop just below the lows of the last couple of days. More conservative, below the T-line. Momo, you can be buying this one. Today, when we looked at it, the logic was it hit the 200, so you needed to see it stay up close to that. Or if you took profits at the 200, get ready to buy it back if it comes back up through the 200. Bank of America is just not an exciting stock to trade, but it's moving in the right direction if you like it. Again, a J-hook pattern setting up. HIIQ, another one that has to open positive. If it opens lower, take your profits. You're going to be in a bobble. JD.com, nothing here yet. It needed to open positive. You didn't have a positive day. I probably wouldn't be long or short this one right now, just because there's really no major force or any direction. HIB, if you're short, you stay short. If you start seeing positive trading, especially right off the 50 here, I'd probably cover the short position. Hold, another one that you can get ready to buy after the signal and a close above the T-line. You can start buying this one with the anticipation it's probably coming back up into this trajectory. BABA, nothing here yet. If I was short, I don't even know whether I'd be short. Right now, I probably wouldn't be long or short this one. Just nothing there to give you any advantage. NG or CGNX, all you can do is stay long. Coming out of this little J-hook type pattern, you just stay long until you see a sell signal. NAK, nothing wildly exciting about this one. Just make sure your volume stays up. If you happen to be long, you stay long as it stays above the T-line. FedEx, you can get ready to go short. JB Hunt, yeah, you stay short on this one. Just watch to see what it does at the 50. Kansas, you can stay short on this one with the anticipation that your dumpling top is taking you down toward the 200-day moving average. LSTR, this one is going to move in the direction of how they open it. If this opens lower tomorrow, yes, you can be shorting it. What is this one? FWONK. Is that a Funkin' Wagnall? J-hook pattern. You can buy that one. May not make a big percentage move, but it's heading in the right direction. GSAT, that's a kicker type signal. This one you can be buying. Just make sure your volume is hefty at that price. AXON, nothing. If you happen to be short, you stay short, but I wouldn't be buying this one until you see it confirm above the T-line. Hello, Victor. Good to hear from you, Victor. NetEase, bobble breakout. You can still buy this one on positive trading, a doji sandwich, with the expectation they're bringing it back up to this area. And Constellation Brands, another J-hook type pattern. You can also be buying this one. Box, Look at the little wedge breakout. You just stay long. Notice how they came back down and basically used the T-line as a support level. You can still buy that one on positive trading. Overstock, nothing exciting here. If you're, I'd be more apt to buy it at 32 knowing it broke out through the congestion area. HRTX, if you're short, you just stay short. I wouldn't want to see it trade positive from here if you were short with your dojis. Inverted hammer. You ready to buy this one on positive trading? That tells you the T-line did act as support. RGNX. Whoops. RGNX. That's not anything great. This is a failure again up here, bearish engulfing right here at the T-line. So if you're buying down here, this is what your first alert is, to see what happens once it gets to the T-line. If I'd bought down here, I would have closed it out today. Monsanto, not very exciting, other than it did gap up finally. I would suspect it's going to be in a 45 degree. I wouldn't want to see it trade back below today's low. That would tell me the profit taking is in progress. Well. EVRI. You shouldn't be in this one. Again, notice how far away you'd moved away from the T-line coming out of this fry pan bottom. Where was it coming back to? The T-line. And you're still below the T-line. I wouldn't be in this one at all. MDXG, nice fry pan bottom. First target is the 50. ITUS shouldn't be in this one at all. No direction. EMTS, same scenario here. And they came back up. The fact that they could close back below this open, that told you they were breaking out, told you the bears are still in control. Should have been back out of that trade, especially with it closing below the T-line. CTSH, just stay long as it stays above the T-line. Oh, for the futures, Rob. I'd have to check. I haven't done any checking. This one I would still be going after because of the wedge breakout. If this opened positive, I'd still be buying calls on this one. That's CQM. And SGEN, I might not be buying calls here, but we're holding the calls as long as it stays in a 45 degree. CF, nice little scoop pattern. You stay long. For safety, I'd put a stop just below today's low because you do have a doji type sandwich. PSX, yes, you can be going short on this one. First target expectation is down here to the 50. And VNTV, if you are short, you stay short. You can short this one. You've got kind of a, let's see if I can do this with elegance. Oops. Yeah, so that's your support level. If it comes down through there, you can short it. And Molson, you can short this one on weakness. You're bearish engulfing wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. SSW. Nothing wildly exciting. Let's see if I can see. If you're long, you stay long. It just wouldn't be, there's really no reversal signals here. That's not a reversal signal. That's not a reversal signal. So I'd probably be someplace else. Only because there's better charts out there. Volume, I don't know what the volume is on this one. Yeah, bad volume. On a stock that's traded this level, it's only traded 118,000 shares. You want to see something trading in the $2 range, trading like 1 million shares a day. Price line, J-hook pattern. Just stay with it with the anticipation. They're coming back up to fill the gap. Weight Watchers, nothing wildly exciting on this one. You can see it's holding at the 50. It's probably not going to give you a big return. If you're long, you can stay long, but that's about all you can do. Wouldn't be buying this one. Okay. Netflix moved up strong. The market's still staying strong. There's really no change of our analysis unless we wake up and find the pre-market futures down 140 points. That would probably be the change of investor sentiment. All right, everybody. Let's call it a night. We'll see everybody bright and early in the chat rooms tomorrow. We'll see you then.